The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Vexthera of the Zynthian Collective slithered to the center platform, her crystalline scales reflecting the dim purple light. 6 of her 8 eyes focused on the human representative across the room, Lieutenant Jake Morrison, who sat casually in his chair, one boot propped on his knee. "Esteemed council members," Vexthera hissed, her translator rendering her words in perfect standard galactic. "I bring grave accusations against the human delegation. 3 rotations ago, we attempted to negotiate with Lieutenant Morrison using traditional Zynthian diplomacy. The KRYLL ambassador, a massive insectoid creature, clicked his mandibles nervously. Everyone knew what traditional Zynthian diplomacy meant: assassination." Vexthera continued, her voice dripping with what could only be described as confusion mixed with fear. "We invited the human to a private dinner. Our finest chefs prepared a traditional meal, one that we enhanced with crimson nightshade extract." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Crimson nightshade was legendary, a compound so toxic that a single molecule could shut down the neural systems of virtually every known species. The Zynthians had used it to eliminate entire planetary populations during the border wars. "The dosage we administered," Vexthera's voice trembled slightly, "was enough to kill 300 KRYLL warriors, 50 Draconians, or 70 VexTI hive minds. We watched as the human consumed the entire bowl." Jake Morrison cleared his throat, drawing all eyes to him. "If I may interject, Ambassador Vexthera. That soup was delicious. I was wondering if I could get the recipe." The chamber erupted in chaos. The VexTI delegate's telepathic shriek of disbelief sent half the translators offline. The Draconian military observer roared in what his species considered laughter. Vexthera's scales had turned from crystalline blue to a sickly gray. The human asked for seconds. When we increased the concentration tenfold, he merely commented that it had a nice kick to it." Jake stood up, reaching into his jacket pocket. Security drones immediately activated, but he simply pulled out a small bottle. "Look, I appreciate the hospitality, really. But if we're talking about spicy, this is what I brought from Earth." He held up a bottle of hot sauce labeled Devil's Rectum, Ultra Death Edition. "After that soup, I figured you folks might enjoy some real heat. This is made from Carolina Reapers, Trinidad Scorpions, and a few peppers we genetically modified just to see if we could. It clocks in at about 2.5 million Scoville units." The medical officer of the council, a tentacled being from Aquarius Prime, consulted his database rapidly. "Scoville units? That's an Earth measurement for capsaicin, a chemical compound that triggers pain receptors. But why would humans voluntarily consume something that causes pain?" Jake grinned. "Because it tastes good. We have competitions to see who can eat the hottest peppers. We put hot sauce on everything. Some of us drink it straight." He unscrewed the cap of his bottle. "Want to try some?" Every delegate simultaneously took a step backward. "You see," Jake continued, walking toward the center platform, "what you call crimson nightshade. We analyzed it. The chemical structure is remarkably similar to a compound in our chili peppers. Your planet killer toxin basically just triggers the same receptors that make our food taste spicy." Vexthera's diplomatic composure finally cracked. But it destroys neural pathways. It causes cascade failures in biological systems. How can your species possibly?" "Oh, it does that to us too," Jake interrupted cheerfully. "We just built up a tolerance over millennia. Started with mild peppers, worked our way up. Now some of us eat things that would probably qualify as chemical weapons on other worlds." He paused, scratching his chin. "Actually, we did use pepper spray as a non-lethal weapon for a while. Still do, in some places." The KRYLL ambassador, fascinated despite himself, leaned forward. "But why? What evolutionary advantage does this provide?" "Honestly?" Jake shrugged. "No idea. Maybe it started as a way to preserve food, spices have antimicrobial properties. Maybe some of our ancestors were just insane enough to keep eating painful things until they enjoyed it. Humans are weird like that. He walked to Vexthara's platform and set the hot sauce bottle down in front of her. Look, Ambassador, I appreciate that you tried to kill me. Really, it's flattering in a way. But if we're going to have diplomatic relations, maybe we should stick to honest negotiations instead of poison. Vexthara stared at the bottle as if it might explode. The Council will need to reassess our intelligence on human biology. Probably a good idea, Jake agreed. While you're at it, you should know that humans have survived exposure to radiation that would sterilize most planets, we can function on sleep deprivation that would kill most species, and some of us voluntarily jump out of perfectly good aircraft for fun. The council chamber had gone silent again, but this time it wasn't diplomatic silence, it was the quiet of beings fundamentally reassessing everything they thought they knew about the universe. The KRYLL ambassador finally spoke. The collective wishes to formally withdraw any hostile intentions toward humanity. We also wish to establish trade negotiations immediately. Smart choice, Jake said, returning to his seat. And hey, if any of you want to visit Earth, I know a great Thai place in Houston. The green curry there actually made Ambassador Vexthara's soup taste like mild salsa. As the session adjourned, Vexthara approached Jake privately. Lieutenant Morrison, I must ask, what is this mild salsa you speak of? Jake's grin widened. Oh, Ambassador. You have so much to learn about Earth cuisine. Tell you what, next diplomatic dinner, it's my treat. I'll introduce you to something we call buffalo wings. The Zynthian ambassador's translator crackled with what sounded like a whimper. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council not through military might or technological superiority, but through sheer, inexplicable biological audacity. And somewhere in the depths of space, entire civilizations were updating their threat assessments to include a new warning: do not attempt to poison the humans. They'll just ask for the recipe.